Robert back here today in the vise. Got this old Kamplite lantern, and cool old lantern. Everything's free on it, but it did have some bugs in it. I've already cleaned out of it. Got some holes in the mantles. I hate to run those silk-like mantles, especially when they got the 70. Camera's picking that up. 7510. It's etched into the mantle. But that mantle on the right is shot. I hate to waste them silk lights, but Chuck sent me my first actual Kamplite globe. I know the camera's not going to pick it up here, but it is etched faintly Kamplite. Really old globe, got a lot of swirls and imperfections in it. I really like it. But anyway, he sent it to me, and put it in here, and I just couldn't quit at that. I've got to get this thing going now. So thank you, Chuck. Okay, the vise, the biggest opening for the Sears in 275 is a little bit too big around for the Kamplite. And the lantern itself is too big around for my 220 spacer, so it's in between the 220 and the 275 in Sears. So, good thing about this type of vise, I mean, you can use leather, rubber, whatever you can find. I have some strips of rubber here. This was a little rubber mat I found. I cut in strips. But I can put that in there on each side. There you go, and it's going to be perfect to lock in the Kamplite. You like it. When I sell these lantern vises, I always send them instructions and tell them they can cut up pieces of rubber, fan belts, pieces of thick leather, anything they find is flexible to put in there to hold odd size lanterns. First thing we're going to do, we're going to remove this bell nut. See, I'm not going to boil any of these parts in vinegar. I don't think I need to. But I'm going to take it apart, and I'm just going to shoot some carburetor cleaner through the fuel pickup tube and clean out my air tubes. That's as far as we're going to go with it. It's going to make it run. Man, they just don't make mantles like they used to. Man, that string is so tough. Man, these newer strings, you just barely pull them and they break. But check that out. Y'all see that? 7510. Alright, next thing I want to do is I want to remove that generator nut. 7/16. Lever, tip cleaner lever to the up position. Get my eyes on so I can see what I'm doing. Alright. Slide right out of there. These generators. I don't know why they done that, but they put that dimple in there. So these are non-serviceable. But it does look in really good shape. If I can get it back in there. There we go. Alright, next thing. Remove this base nut. Way to get the screw to hold that air tube. Might be able to just tilt it. Maybe that won't be in there too tight. Yeah, tilting it's going to work, I think. Oh yeah, she's loose. Alright, now we should be able to just turn out the air tube. Just going to hit this with a wire brush. So I'm not going to get too all crazy about cleaning it. It's not in that bad a shape. Looks like they've had a fire down under there, don't it? Anyway, we're going to leave that. We're going to leave its character. Yeah, she's definitely been burning underneath. They've had a leak. Definitely. Collar's burnt. So we can get some of that rust off the collar. This is not going to be a total restore. We're just going to make this thing run. Clean it up a little bit and make it run. Okay, let's just see by chance. Just maybe. I can turn these out without heat. Yeah. Got a cap to turn loose anyway. That spring's already loose. Let's just give it a little brushing. It's odd, I've never seen that before. It's like a tapered thread. It's got a small thread here at the bottom, real fine. It's been tapered down a little bit. I've never seen that on a lantern before. That spring's still intact. It don't look like it's going anywhere, so let's just give it a little cleaning. I tell you, I really like this old antique wrench. It's perfect for turning out these old valves. Our little filter is not really soldered on there really well. Okay, inside here, it's going to be a little spring that works with that valve. We'll Take that spring out and I'm just going to give it a little stretch. Anyway, let's go ahead and clean that up a little bit. Okay, off camera, I'm just going to spray that with a little carburetor cleaner. Brush a little tarnish off that spring. I'm just going to give it a gentle stretch. Not too far. I'm just going to put a little life back in it. Once again, I'm going to rinse that with carburetor cleaner. Hopefully that'll do the trick. Drop our pin back in there. Get our spring and our cap. Tighten that back down. Now hopefully, see the fuel dripping out of the end of the tube there. So she's flowing. Yeah. Before I burn it out, let's make sure we got something that'll fit it. Can't remember if these use the standard Coleman size or not. Yep, I think that's going to work. Next thing we're going to do, remove this pump. Don't look too bad. Let's go ahead and get that in the oil. Don't know if I can, but I'm going to attempt to turn that check valve out. Can't do it with my check valve tool. Actually, I don't even have my check valve tool right now. I loaned it out. Lock it in the vise. Put this big screwdriver in there to see if I can find my opening. One way to do it. You can see what you're doing. Alright, I'm going to mash in on that screwdriver. I think I got it. A little bitty check valve. to have the flashlight to get it out. I guess we're going to have the flashlight to get it back in. Alright, they got it. This is a soft nylon brush. Just hit it. Get some of this crud off the top. That's as far as we're going to go with it. Got a can of old combing fuel out on the deck. I'm going to go out, put it in my can. A little Loctite on these threads. That's about right. Alright, so if we can get our collar back on. Burner assembly. Get our little screw started back in there. Can thread our air tube back in. Make sure my generator lines back up before I tighten that set screw. Tighten our set screw back up. Getting ahead of myself. What we forgot. Okay, off camera, I put some fuel in it. Okay, our tip cleaner seems to be operational, so we didn't damage it putting it back together. Vaguely hear a little bit of air. At least some of that pressure. Try lower pressure. Turn off my little fan. A little fan pushing my heat. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Try some mantles. So we put some Peerless on this old girl. Okay, right here, I think comes the hardest part. Getting this vent on, or not the vent, but the bell. That wasn't too awful bad. Alright, there's my old Kamplite up and running. Appreciate my friend Chuck for the opportunity to own an original Kamplite globe to put on it. Not very often you see those. I'm liking it. Okay, y'all know the routine. Like, share, subscribe. God bless.